No basements here well, if you do have a basement and you're lucky enough to have a basement, get there. Interior room, windowless interior room, as we always say, and make sure you seek shelter. That could be bathroom, closet, pantry, what have you. Just make sure you're away from those exterior walls or windows. But there are the arrival time with this storm. New Hope 342, Fredonia 343, Lakeport 353. It's very close to Lakeport now, so keeping a close eye on this as it continues to move off to the east. And again, Tyler, holler if there are any more updates, because I feel like we will see quite a few with just how these storms have formed and quickly developed across the area.
Yeah, Carson. So they just came out with another update. That tornado has picked up some speed. Instead of 25 miles an hour moving east, it's up to 30 miles an hour moving east. So for those folks in that path, seek shelter now. It is coming quicker than it was a few minutes ago. So 30 miles an hour moving east right now.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see there's a lot of turning with the winds here, and as we've mentioned before, we know we sound like a broken record, but this is literally right along the Rusk-Gray County line here, and this is going to be just to the west of Lake Cherokee. So if you live on either side of Lake Cherokee, there are a lot of camps there, a lot of people, you know, they either have a vacation house or they live out there. That's where you might go fishing on the weekends. Make sure you're seeking shelter. If you are along the lake, make sure you seek shelter. Hold off on driving here over the next few minutes. You're not going to want to be out with that. But if we look at the storm, where you see that green, that's where the dangerous part of the storm is. There is State Highway 322. So this is going to be just to the west of State Highway 322. Picking up steam, which sometimes that's an indication that these storms are strengthening, and then we don't have a lot of lightning with it. Sometimes if we see a pulse up of lightning, these storms can strengthen quickly. But again, if you live along State Highway 322 and off to the west, please be seeking shelter as this storm moves in. There's the East Texas Regional Airport. If you live near the East Texas Regional Airport, seek shelter. Again, inside the house, a windowless interior room, pantries, closets, bathrooms, whatever is going to keep you safe from the storm. So be doing that right now as we speak. And as Tyler mentioned, picking up steam now, so it's right along Lake Cherokee and will continue to move in our direction. So let's go ahead and pick up the reflectivity again. And what we're kind of seeing here now is we do have this supercell storm that's about to merge with this supercell storm. So hopefully that will take some of the energy out of it as these continue to progress off to the east. But this is a situation that's evolved very, very quickly today. A lot of these storms along this front that we talked about yesterday, they are continuing to rotate. And there's a lot of spin along the front as well, which is part of the reason why we have seen this tornado threat come to fruition. So that's the storm we are concerned with. It doesn't look like we've got as bad of a hook on it, but you know, a lot of these other storms, they are really beginning to develop, and we're going to have to keep an eye on each one of these. So you've got one storm down here by McKnight, Big Spring. That's not warned. The storm near Henderson's not warned. And then we've got that storm between Lakeport and Henderson. That's not currently warned, but the one right near Lakeport is warned at this point. And again, we do have lots of broad rotation within these storms that we will need to keep a very close eye on. I'm looking at some of the different tilts, and I'm not really seeing any, I would say, significant rotation here, but it is something that is going to be monitored until the warning is lifted. So as we look at the severe weather threats, these are mainly producing wind and hail, but that tornado threat still persists there in the flashing polygon. Anything else, Tyler?
Not yet. We're still waiting for an update from Shreveport. They're typing right now, so expect something here. Here we go. We're going to drop that tornado warning east of Kilgore. Rotation has weakened greatly. So there's your update that you needed.
There you go. Thank you. I was hoping for that update there. So again, This is one of those situations that, you know, we're going to see these storms pulse up real quickly and weaken just like this one just did. Lots of spin, which means there is an elevated tornado threat, unfortunately. We've already seen that come to fruition. Lots of broad rotation within each of these storms. So this is something we're going to continue to monitor. They're about to drop this, but these storms can often cycle and we may see more rotation, but we do have these storms that are kind of stacked up with one another here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on each one of these just to see if they do develop. And, you know, just look what's happened here over the last hour or so. This is going to be quite impressive when I show you. These weren't much as they were moving over central Cherokee County, but as they have moved, they have really strengthened. So I'm going to step off screen just to show you the radar loop here, and what you will notice is they've really strengthened here over the last hour. So we didn't have hardly anything over Cherokee County, but these things have really ramped up, and the problem is this front's moving through in the middle part of the afternoon. If that wasn't the case, then we would not have much of a severe weather threat, but since this front is moving through when temperatures are in the upper 70s and lower 80s like they are, that is the reason why we are seeing this threat come to fruition here. And you can see several thunderstorms now continuing to move east, most of them moving through central Rusk and western Nacogdoches County. So we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on these storms as they develop, as they move from west to east here. So don't have any more warnings for you. I mean, we did have the one that quickly expired just to the east of Alto, so not seeing that one warned anymore. And then we also had that tornado warning, which will be allowed to expire here within the next few minutes. So again, keep your wits about you. I think your severe weather threat is over if you live in Tyler and Lindale. We had some scary scenes from Lindale earlier today from a potential tornado that touched down. We're still waiting to get confirmation on that. There have been lots of photos, lots of videos, but no concrete evidence that we did see that. But once we know more about that and the damage that has been done in that area, we'll let you know on our newscast and our digital platforms onto what exactly has happened there. But there's your area of showers and thunderstorms. We're no longer under a tornado warning, and we no longer have any warnings out for East Texas, but with this area of showers and storms, we could see that quickly change. And as we kind of look at this, we have more storms down to the southwest. These storms have developed, they have pushed off to the east, and will continue to do so. But again, no active warnings in the area. We will be here in the Storm Center monitoring any updates that come forward, and we will let you know as soon as we know when more watches and warnings are issued. But again, if you live near Longview, pointing off to the south along Highway 259, make sure you are keeping updated with the forecast. We will be right here monitoring the weather. And folks, whenever you are ready, we will be able to send it back to East Texas Live at 3, and we will come back on when necessary, if and when more warnings and watches are issued. So whenever you're ready, give me the cue and we will make sure that it does come back to y'all. But again, scattered showers and thunderstorms. This is because of a very strong cold front that's moving through the area. You'll see this risk of storms here over the next couple of hours, and then these storms will move off to the east, and these much colder temperatures, which we've been talking about over the last several days, they will move in, and that's what the main story is, because I do expect temperatures Halloween morning, Friday morning, are going to be in the lower 40s, which will be the coolest we have been so far. So keeping a very close eye on these storms. We will continue to monitor here in the East Texas Storm Center, but right now we will send it back over to East Texas Live at 3 with David Gibson.
That storm started to ramp up just north of Nacogdoches, but again, it's moving east at 40 miles an hour, and the warning will last until 4:30.
All right, thank you, sir. So the warning goes until 4:30, which is about 22 minutes away from right now. We will redraw the cone of uncertainty here, and we'll draw it for about 40 miles per hour. And as we do that, I mean, you can see pretty quick moving storm, no doubt about that. It's already over Mount Enterprise. Caledonia, the arrival time, the edited arrival time is going to be at 4:23. Bryce is going to be at 4:24. Garrison's at 4:26, and Timpson will be at 4:35. So there's Timpson, and Timpson actually got hit by a tornado during Hurricane Beryl as that moved through, but just to the west of Timpson, that's where this supercell thunderstorm is. So if you're watching us from Timpson, Texas, you're seeing dark clouds off to your west and also to your northwest. I'm not as concerned with the northwest storm as I am with the western storm, but that western storm that will cross the Atoyac River and impact you is something that does need to be reckoned with, because it is warned for the potential of a tornado. I'm not really seeing great evidence that we do have a tornado on the ground. We can do a little more analysis on it, but you know, just based on the lower wind speeds right here on our base velocity, that's going to be to the southeast of Mount Enterprise. So what we're pointing to is that area where we have wind speeds that are not really alike each other. They're moving in different directions. That's where we do have that potential tornado. So it's now to the southeast of Mount Enterprise. Again, not confirmed or anything like that, but these have been storms that have dropped these quick spin-ups today. Sounds like we had one in Lindale, not confirmed yet, but I'm sure they will at some point. But this is another example where the storm has changed very, very quickly. So the National Weather Service, they took the initiative and they put out a warning on it. So that's just to the southeast of Mount Enterprise. So if you live between Highway 259, Mount Enterprise, and the Atoyac River, please be seeking shelter. If you live in Timpson, you're in the polygon. You got that wireless emergency alert on your smartphone. If you get that, get inside windowless interior room, whether that be a pantry, a bathroom, a closet, wherever you're going to be as far away from the outside world as possible. That is going to be the safest place to be in a situation like this. Now, further off to the north, in my opinion, this is going to be the more intense of the two storms, because look at all this lightning. We've got about 60 to 65 lightning strikes within this storm, and this is probably the strongest storm we have seen today. It's just not exhibiting a lot of rotation. It did have a reported wall cloud on it from some storm spotters that were looking at it from eastern Rusk County, but as it has moved into Panola County, we still have quite a bit of lightning associated with it, and the storm continues to push off to the east. But I'm not really seeing anything that would exhibit any rotation. Now, I want to welcome in our KTBB listeners. If you are listening to us on radio, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for eastern Panola County and a tornado warning for northern Nacogdoches and southern Rusk County, with a potential tornado that is moving off to the east of Mount Enterprise at about 40 miles per hour. And if we do have a tornado, it's going to be between Highway 259 and the Atoyac River in extreme southeastern Rusk County. Tyler?
Carson, yeah, very similar to the warning we had about 20 minutes ago. This one has picked up steam significantly. This one's moving east at 55 miles an hour now. It has gained a lot of traction very quickly.
Yes, certainly a quick-moving storm, and as we look at the radar loop here, I mean, you can see it's really picked up steam, and these are fast-moving storms. This is a fast-moving cold front. Just a while ago, we were talking about storms in Cherokee, Smith County, and then we were talking about them in Rusk and Gray County. Now they are moving into the Panola, northeastern Nacogdoches, Shelby County vicinities, and these continue to pick up steam, which, you know, not the worst thing in the world, because we get these storms out of the area quite a bit sooner. So we do have two warnings. We have the one tornado warning, and then we have this severe thunderstorm warning up in Panola County. Tornado warning is for Shelby, Rusk, and northern Nacogdoches County. The circulation associated with that tornado warning is to the east of Mount Enterprise, to the west of Timpson and the Etoyac River, and continues to progress in the direction of Timpson. So let me go ahead and pause this, and we will show you more analysis. And when you get a chance, Tyler, read off the new severe thunderstorm warning we have for Nacogdoches County as we do a little more analysis on the tornado warned storm here.
Yeah, Carson. So that one coming out of Nacogdoches County, that warning will last until 5 o'clock. That storm's moving east at 45 miles an hour. The biggest threat here is those 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. They do think a tornado could be possible with that storm as well, as strong as it looks. And the main counties, St. Augustine, Shelby, Nacogdoches County, again, that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 5.
Okay, so the area of rotation now to the southeast of Mount Enterprise. You can see picking up a little bit of strength with the lightning and the forward speed that Tyler mentioned. It's now up to 55 from 40 just a little while ago. So we're going to talk about this storm for just a little bit longer. I'm going to put a storm track on it just to give you updated timelines. And if this continues on its trajectory, I'm going to have to zoom out just a little bit just to get the full speed of the storm since it's moving so quickly now. But as we look at the projected path of the storm, it's going to cross the Etoyac River here pretty soon. And as we look at that speed, look at that. These times have moved up now due to the forward acceleration. Caledonia is now down to 420. It's 427 in Timpson, 12 minutes away from right now. Bobo, 431. Huber, 432. Tennessee, 432. And then Gary at about 432 as well. So these storms, they continue to remain intense. The one tornado warning we have in the area between Mount Enterprise, the Etoyac River, to the east of Highway 259, and to the west of Timpson. So that's the one tornado warning we have in the area. And then over Nacogdoches County, over the county seat of Nacogdoches, we do have this new warning now that has popped up in central Nacogdoches County. This one has really ramped up in intensity, and you can see in Nacogdoches, if you're able to view it from a safe spot, especially from the west side, let us know what's going on with this storm, because they do rotate, and they do rotate quickly. That will help us out. That will help the National Weather Service out. But as you can see, there might be a little bit of broad rotation just to the east of Hayward Junction and Nacogdoches proper. But the main threat with this storm would be the threat of some small hail and some cloud-to-ground lightning, obviously strong winds as well, but not really seeing anything that would warrant a tornado warning in my opinion. But these storms, they have ramped up very, very quickly, and that is something that we're going to have to keep a close eye on just in case one does happen to form. But you can see these storms, they change quickly. Didn't look like much as it crossed the Nacogdoches-Cherokee County line, but now it is turning into something of a formidable storm and continues to progress off to the south and to the southeast near Melrose and Shady Grove. So this is another one of those storms that will bear some watching. Not a tornado warning, severe thunderstorm warning, and that continues to progress off to the east there. And again, lots of lightning, which is not a good sign, because the more lightning you see, the stronger the storm typically is, or the more it is strengthening. So this is one that we will have to keep a very close eye on here over the next few minutes. But as we zoom this out, we now have 3 warnings in the area, one of which is a tornado warning. And as you can see, these have really ramped up along the boundary that's moving through. Got the severe thunderstorm warning near Carthage in southwestern Panola County. That's going to be near Gary City and Lake Merval. And then you've got the tornado warning that looks like it has just expired in southeastern Rusk County. And then you do have the new severe thunderstorm warning for Nacogdoches County for that storm that is producing a lot of lightning in Nacogdoches proper, and will have the potential of some strong winds as well. So those are the 2 warnings we have, and this is just an evolving situation where things can change. They can change just like that. I mean, we were just on the air for our first of 3 weather hits, and unfortunately we had a storm spin up very, very quickly there. But I would say with the weakening of the storm that we have in southeastern Rusk County, the strongest storm now is going to be in Nacogdoches County, so this one will bear watching as it moves further and further to the south and to the southeast. Maybe a little bit of broad rotation, which is why they have that tornado possible tag on it, but I'm not seeing anything that would warrant that tornado warning. We'll check a couple more products, the shear rate, getting a little better concentration there and just to the east of the city, but nothing that really spells tornado. And as we look at the correlation coefficient, not really seeing a debris signature, which is what we saw earlier today in and around the Kilgore vicinity when we had that touchdown of a tornado. But as we look at this, lightning associated with it, some heavy rain as well. Lots of cloud to ground lightning, which is really pulsed up. And again, folks, one of those things where we've got this front moving through, and when the front moves into some very unstable air in the atmosphere, that is when we do tend to see severe weather in the fall shoulder season, when we're transitioning from the East Texas summer to the East Texas winter. And then when we are transitioning from the East Texas winter to the East Texas summer, well, that's springtime, and that's when we have these primary severe weather season with these wild temperature swings we often see. This will probably be the first of many, but nonetheless, folks, this is a time of year where you do need to be weather aware. A lot of us say that tornado season, well, it can be year-round at times, especially with an active tropical season and an active fall, which is something we have seen take place here over the last couple of weeks. But again, we don't have any more tornado warnings in the area. We do have this severe thunderstorm warning, and this continues to become very impressive just from a hail standpoint. So one thing I'll do is we'll do a little bit of analysis on just how large this hail is. And as we look at the severe weather threats, I mean, you can see it's really pulsed up. So I would not be surprised if we are getting reports of, I mean, I'm doubting this high up in the atmosphere we are seeing 3-inch hail, but at the surface that's probably at least golf ball sized. So if you live just to the east of Stephen F. Austin University and Nacogdoches proper, you're probably seeing some large hail. So intense storm, no doubt about it. Primary threat is going to be hail just to the east of Nacogdoches. The tornado watch, it goes until 10 o'clock this evening as the front pushes through. Once the front pushes through, that will end the severe weather threat, and we will start to see the severe weather threat come to an end. It looks like we do have a couple more severe thunderstorm warnings. Tyler.
Yeah, Carson. So we're looking at a severe thunderstorm warning in Shelby and Panola counties. Again, they've got that tornado possible tag on there just because of how kind of sporadic these storms have been all afternoon. That one's moving east at 45 miles an hour. Again, you're looking at a storm that's just north of Timpson, just south of Carthage. Again, 60-mile-an-hour winds. You're looking at some good-sized hail. Tenaha, Timpson, Joaquin, those cities, you are going to see probably some pretty good rain here in the next few minutes.
All right, and I mean, that's exactly right. We do have, quite a bit of rain moving through. It looks like that is going to be southwestern Panola and then northern Shelby County. So lots of rain, lots of lightning as well as this thing continues to move off to the south and to the southeast. So generally in that direction there. So Tenaha in the path of this storm, Old Center in the path of this storm, Shady Grove in the path of the storm as well. So lots of heavy rain with that one, but the tornado warning, this is good news. The tornado warning has expired for southeastern Rusk County. Not really looking like much of a storm now. It is loud, producing lots of cloud to ground lightning and some heavy rain at times, but this one as well is going to continue to push off to the south and to the southeast. And then we also, Tyler, have that storm in portions of eastern Sabine County now, which is showing probably some signs of trying to wrap up a little bit. And it looks like that hail is going to be the primary threat with this one. So when you can find details on that, let me know and we'll
I've got it right here, Carson. How about this one? This warning is going to last till 5. Again, you're looking at 60-mile-an-hour winds. Milam, Sexton, those are your main cities. Going to be looking at that one. Hail damage is expected. Wind damage to your roof, siding. We've seen a lot of wind damage this afternoon, and the National Weather Service is also keeping an eye on a wall cloud that's over the Toledo Bend Reservoir. They're going to watch that one pretty closely here the next few minutes to see if there's any other development on that storm too.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of storm spotters in the area that are looking at these storms, and we've had multiple reports of wall clouds, so it just goes to show that the storm mode is favoring more rotation. And you know, these storms, they'll turn right and then they will rotate as they strengthen. So a lot of these storms are rotating in the mid-levels, and you know, some of that has resulted in some low-level rotation as well. So just keeping an eye on all of this, and we will continue to monitor as these progress off to the east. So over Toledo Bend, there's probably a few people watching from the lake right now. We know of a few, especially on the west side of the lake, that do watch our programming. And this is not a tornado warning, but could become one at any time. We do have that 2-inch hail threat in the center of the storm, and also a wall cloud over the lake, so that could create a waterspout concern if things continue to trend in the direction they are trending. But we do have that storm we're watching as well. Now, as we look a little further off to the west, not really seeing any more signs of rapid rotation, but the storm over Nacogdoches County, let's get my bearings straight here, over Nacogdoches County, that is where we do have that potential of a little bit of rotation there near Oak Ridge, and a little more well-defined than it was, but you know, we're not seeing much in the way of evidence that anything has touched the ground. But nonetheless, we will be keeping a close eye on it as it continues to progress off to the east. Lots of lightning associated with this, and obviously there is that large hail threat as well. So we have the potential of quarter-sized hail in this storm as it's moving off to the east. There's Atoyac. There's the Atoyac River there. It's moving in that direction. Eventually, it's going to move into extreme southwestern Shelby and northern San Augustine County. So mainly a deep East Texas event now. And as we do a wider view, I want to show you where these storms are at, just to give you some comparison. So we did see some threatening skies earlier today in northern Smith County. No confirmation that we had a tornado officially, but just based on some of the videos, we had something, you know, it was land spout, something did some damage in northern Smith County, and unfortunately it did create a lot of issues up there with not only power outages, but with a lot of structural damage as well. So we've got a reporter on the way to northern Smith County to investigate that further. We had a video that sure looked a lot like a tornado as well, so we'll continue to look for more analysis on that. But if you live to the west of this line of storms, so if you live to the west of Lufkin, Nacogdoches, the Atoyac River, western Panola, western Harrison, western Marion County, Tyler, Longview, Mineola, Gilmer, Jacksonville, Rusk, Crockett, Athens, Van Zant County, you guys do no longer have a severe weather threat. One thing you're going to notice if you live in any of those areas that I just listed is the fact that your severe weather threat is over, and you are going to be seeing much colder temperatures and some strong winds. So if you have a moment, you're bored watching severe thunderstorm and tornado coverage on your TV, well, go outside. If you have those weird Halloween decorations that some people put up, the big giant floats, well, at this time of year, we always see a severe weather event. Tie those down, because we have some strong northwesterly winds on the way that will make it both very cold and windy and inconvenient for any decorations you might have outside or any fall decor that you might have outside. Tyler.
Yeah, Carson, so an update on those storms in northern Smith County. There was a tornado, an EF0, wind 65 to 85 miles an hour that we are getting more information on. That was near Lindale. Their emergency management coordinator said it was just after 3 that a tornado was seen off Farm to Market Road there, 2710. That's just northeast of Lindale. Trees, homes were damaged off 2170 at Farm to Market Road and County Road 4126, 4128. Good news though, no injuries in that storm. No trees have been reported on any roads, but there definitely was a twister in Smith County this afternoon.
Yeah, so you said EF0 damage?
EF0,
okay.
Yes sir.
Cool. So that comes from an emergency manager that has had time to kind of assess the situation. Tons of reports that we had a tornado touchdown. Videos suggested that rotation, and it continues to look like we did have some significant damage in the area. So we hope and pray for folks up there that they can get back on their feet as quickly as possible. Again, we will have more reports coming in from northern Smith County as the evening progresses, but that is going to be just to the north of Lindale, Texas, there to the north of Interstate 20. But there are your storms right here, and if we get to 4:30 and no other warnings are issued here, then we will be able to send you back to KETK News at 4:30. But just to summarize everything, if you live in our western counties, that means to the west of Rusk, west of Nacogdoches, west of Angelina County, your severe weather threat is over. Tyler and Longview, your severe weather threat is over for the evening. But if you live closer to the lakes and along the Texas-Louisiana border, you are still under the gun for tornadoes, hail, and damaging wind gusts here for the next hour or two as these storms progress off to the east. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on these storms as they exit Texas and move into Louisiana. So when we are ready, we will have the latest breaking news and the latest news updates across East Texas. And I will now send it back over to Tyler Henderson. We will be watching storms as they move east here in the East Texas Storm Center. Tyler.